So the incident in Corduff is a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
2 men were involved and one of them was taken to hospital.
Yeah.
And the gunman appears to have kind of appeared out of nowhere. I think these men went to meet somebody.
Yeah, so they were chased down a laneway in just, as you said, in Corduff, and one of them was shot in the armpit, and we've actually named him today. He's a convicted criminal named Joey Morgan. But yeah, there's obviously been a lot of volatility in that area with the Hennessy family and the gang. And
this laneway is literally a 3-minute walk from the Hennessy home, which we were writing about and talking about this week, because that home is identified as being owned by the council, Fingal County Council, and the housing department are, looking at moving in now to evict them.
Yeah. Because there's been a lot of
the antisocial.
Exactly.
Went on in the backyard in the shed.
Of course, with that attack. And I suppose this is again brings in the Hennessy gang because Ken Foy is writing that a junior member of the Hennessy gang is suspected of possibly targeting Joey Morgan, that there may have been a dispute between them. So
were they chased down the laneway, do we know, or did they go to a meeting?
We don't know. We know that there was a lot of tensions in the area. There was a lot of volatility, and that Joey Morgan may have had issues with this young person, and that then he was chased down the laneway. There was 2 shots fired and he was hit in the armpit. Lucky for him, his injuries are described as non-life threatening, so he's going to be okay. But 2 shots been fired indiscriminately could have been way worse for him. So we don't know if there was a meeting plan, but there was a lot of tension in the area, and the 2 people believed to have been involved were not happy with each other. So
so some sort of an argument between them.
Yeah, exactly.
A handgun was used in this attack.
A handgun.
How readily these weapons are available to these young people.
Yeah, exactly. And even it's not linked now, but only earlier today we've put up a story about there was 2 assault rifles seized from a gang in North Dublin. We'll be writing more about that in the Sunday World. But the scary looking guns, we have it up on the site now. So there is a lot of that going around. So there seems to be the ability of these gangs in Dublin to get their hands on guns, and as you said, even very young people and
quickly, obviously opportunistically.
Yeah, exactly.
So Morgan is from Corduff Green out there, and he has convictions for burglary.
Yeah, he's a well-known burglar, but some of the incidents are quite bizarre. He's a serious criminal. He probably isn't on a lot of people's radar, but he has 80 convictions, and he's been back and forth from the court since he was a teenager. So he is well known to Gardaí. He's well known in the area, and yet his most prominent convictions are he broke into a priest's home. Then he also broke into a house after getting out of Clover Hill, literally across the road from Clover Hill prison. After getting bail, he broke into a house. There was another incident where he was off his head on drugs and basically jumped from a second floor of a building, believing that he was on the ground floor during one of his burglary pursuits. So has he
used that as a defence, his misuse of drugs?
Yeah, he used his misuse of drugs as a defence. He said he was, high on it at the time. And then in more recent years, he's been back up in court for other incidents in more recent times. And he said that he is looking after his mother, he's cared for her, and that he's turned his life around and he's trying to move on.
Is he living with the mother there in Corduff Green?
I don't know if he's living with her, but he's from that area. Yeah. He's from Corduff, so I imagine
are these houses council as well, because it was quite extraordinary to realise that about the Hennessys, that all that has gone on there, and the young man was tortured and branded in the shed at the back of the house with a bespoke made cattle prod, with the word rat in it, but that the state is essentially funding the house property.
Yeah, and they've been there a long time, haven't they?
And you have the housing crisis. Of course, Jason Hennessy Sr. was murdered on Christmas Eve in 1923. And his wife is before the courts on some serious charges at the moment. Yeah, she's accused of, Veronica Marr, she's accused of setting a dog on, they had pit bull dogs, and there was actually a order before the courts by the guards to destroy the dogs. They allegedly went for the Gardaí during this incident. She has pleaded not guilty. I think
she's pleaded not guilty.
Escaped.
Yeah, she's pleaded not guilty, and she said that the dog got out. But I suppose what was heard there was, during the mitigating evidence, that Jason Hennessy Senior, who's, as you said, has been killed, that that was the last memory of him that she had. The dogs, they were his beloved dogs. That was said. So it kind of shows that the life that they had there in that house. She's also accused of threats to kill Gardaí, but there are allegations at the moment. But the dogs were owned by the both of them, and I suppose we've seen pictures of that house as well. Of the back of the house, there was a lot of activity, a lot of things going on, and we obviously know that Devin Hennessy, one of Jason Hennessy Senior's sons, has admitted his role in that torture attack.
And it's sort of like that house was used as the headquarters, the Hennessy headquarters of that grouping. And it's right smack bang in the middle of that community. And obviously, when people are living within the community, it's those communities they terrorise.
Yeah.
So in the aftermath of Jason Hennessy Senior's murder at Brown Steakhouse and the subsequent murder of Tristan Sherry, who pulled the gun on him, there was a huge amount of fears that this violence was going to explode in the area.
Yeah.
And those fears began to be quelled when this torture incident happened at the back of that house and when a number of the Hennessys and their associates were taken into custody. 3 sons were taken into custody. 2 are still before the courts. Is this the first kind of shooting incident that has occurred, or do you think there's a lot gone on that is unreported?
I think there's a lot going on. We know, I know you, Niall, have spoken a lot about, intimidation, drug intimidation, people's houses being targeted, people's homes being set on fire. I don't know if we can link them all to that, but there doesn't seem to, I think there has been talk that it's quietened down, but this in particular, this incident, that has had to come from somewhere, the tensions have risen and there is fears that there could be reprisal attacks there. And, whatever this dispute is between Joey Morgan and the young Hennessy associate, that's been building up, and that he was targeted for a reason. So I suppose,
and even you can see from the videos that were taken that went all over social media, because very quickly after this shooting occurred, there was a lot up there about speculation about who it was, what had happened.
Yeah.
Of course, it started with, 2 people had been killed, and it sort of ramped down to what it actually was. But you could see in the videos the resources of the state going into this incident.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fire brigade, ambulances, police cars, police there.
Of course, yeah.
Medical personnel.
Yeah.
It's just sucking so much, isn't it? These feuds and these guys who are rowing with one another.
Of course, it takes so many resources from the state, and it also puts fear in the area, and it probably gives the area a bad name. There's lots of well-respected people in the area who are just trying to raise their kids and trying to live a quiet life, and this definitely doesn't help, I don't think. We do see Corduff in the news a lot for wrong reasons, so it's this can't be helping, and I suppose it is. There has been less since reported since Devin Hennessy was taken into custody, and the others are obviously before the courts. But you see this here. This
still ripple effects.
There's still ripple effects.
So no arrests have been made. Inquiries are ongoing, and there's an appeal for witnesses to come forward.
Yeah, there's appeal for witnesses going forward.
Probably an unlikely thing to happen.
Probably, but I suppose it took place. It took place near Corduff Shopping Centre, so very public location, and it was between around 4:20 and 5:20. It took place around, I think it was 20 to 5, but between that hour, the Gardaí are looking for people to come forward. So I suppose on the basis that it was, very...
Yeah, there would be CCTV at the very least.
Exactly, yes. And I suppose people can be anonymous if they want to come forward as well. But, there's no doubt that it's probably an intimidating incident if you did witness it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Eimear.
Thanks, Nicola.
I'm Nicola Tallant, and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.